No president since 1999 has ever built any quality hospital in Nigeria that can take care of even president himself. Nobody. Have you heard Donald Trump traveling to a different country for medical checkup? No. Have you heard the UK Prime Minister go to another country, or Canadian Prime Minister? No. They take medication in their country. They have those standards. Why can't we have one? We budget billions in the budget. It goes down the drain. And nobody cares. So, the issue here remains the same. What is the presidency or the government going to do with Nigerian taxpayers' money when they start paying this new tax from January? There's no problem paying taxes, but the issue is, will the government use those taxes to do what is right for the betterment of the citizen? That is the big question government need to answer. Citizens, it is your civic responsibility to pay your tax. That is the truth. You have to pay your taxes as at when due. But it is now your right, after paying that tax, to hold government accountable, to show you what they are doing with that tax money. So when you are comparing yourself, oh, in America, don't they pay tax? Do you do what they do for their taxpayers? Hello guys, welcome to my channel. This is Andy Media TV. You guys will recall that the new tax law was passed in Nigeria, which aimed to harmonize, the taxes that are being charged to both corporations and individuals in the country. And it's expected to, kick off on 1st of January 2026 after Mr. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has signed it into law. But recently, just a few days ago, there was an issue that came up. A member of the House of Reps, stood up on the floor of the chambers and, mentioned that the law that was signed by the president, the new tax, law that was signed by the president, is partly different from what, the two chambers of the National Assembly passed. And that statement kind of draw a lot of criticism on why will the government, sign a different law from what was passed by the two chambers. And for the member of the House of Reps, he was trying to, make it clear that what he's saying is not just a mere allegation, but that he sat down, took, all the necessary documentation, the new tax law that was signed by the president. He also took their deliberations in the House when they were debating on the bill before it was passed, even all the notes that was taken down. And if he compared it both with the one that, the Senate did, and he compared it vis-a-vis the tax law that was signed by the president, and they discovered that a lot of, issues have been inserted in that law. And that is why he's, raising the alarm to draw the attention of the chamber, for them to look into it and take the necessary steps to, correct this anomaly. And like we have seen on, severally on social media, that one of the things that was inserted in that new tax law is the issue of 20%, where if there is an issue between the taxpayer and the, the Nigerian Revenue Service, because the FIRS, Federal Revenue Service, will now be changed to, Nigeria Revenue Service. So when you have issue with them and they raise up maybe a certain sum that this is what you are owing as a tax, to the government, that before you can even have the capacity to, go to court, to sue them to court or, take the matter to court, you must have deposited 20% of that sum. This is a situation that nobody can really understand, that they have to hold you first, you pay 20% before even going to court. That is ridiculous. I've not seen where such thing, happens. And that they also give the Revenue Service the power to even prosecute people, arrest people, and stuff like that. They are not security agencies. And there has been an issue of this nature that even the Supreme Court had decided that agencies of government, especially when it comes to Nigerian Broadcasting Corporation, vis-a-vis all these media outlets, television stations and other, they made it clear that agencies of government have no prosecutorial powers. They cannot prosecute you. They cannot arrest you. If there's any issue between you and them, they send the information to the police. It is the police that have the power to arrest. That is the point. So, but now, this law is kind of giving the powers to the Revenue Service to arrest, somebody if there is any issue between the taxpayer and the Revenue Service, which is wrong. So these are part of the things that have been mentioned, highlighted by, so many people that have gone through, the document and is out there on social media. So, but however, normally the government, they are good at coming to, dispel, issues and said, oh, all those things they are saying, they are just opposition nonsense. They'll kind of dispel it. They'll kind of target that the opposition and are just attacking, the president. They don't like the president, all the good work, all those kind of statements. That's what you see. But the issue remains the issue. The member of the House of Reps that brought up the issue knew that this is wrong, because the National Assembly cannot pass a law and the executive will go and change the information in the law by themselves. The executive does not have power to make laws. They only have power to implement. So why will they go and edit, some of the information in the law to add some certain addendums that are not there ab initio? So this is criminal offense, and they need to find out people that did it. But my worry is that, Nigerian factor, at the end of the day, now that the executive has beat their chest to come and claim that that allegation is unfounded, but as far as I know, that is a member of the House of Reps that raised this issue. It's not as if it's coming from outside. It is the people that passed the law that are raising this concern. That tells you it is true. That tells you it is genuine. That tells you that issue that the member of the House of Reps raised is the correct information. I know that the House of Reps have raised up a committee, to look into these issues and then come up with a, final report, which they will look at and then be able to take the necessary steps. But I don't know, but politicians cannot be trusted. I'm telling you the honest truth. They tell you one thing, they do something else. When they meet in the night, what they told you in the day will change in the night, and by the time you are waking up, you'll be seeing a different thing altogether. That is the way majority of these politicians behave. So now that these committees have been set up, they're going to interface with the executive. You're going to see what's going to happen at the end of the day. Let's see. Will they return back to review the law to make sure that it is what was passed in the assembly that is in the law? Will they give the president an amended law for him to sign? That is the point. However, before we go into all that, if you are new to my channel, please kindly like and share this video, and also subscribe to my channel and put on the notification bell so that when my next new video drop, you'll be among those that will be notified. All right. When this law came to the president, they're supposed to do a review, check through it to be sure that it is okay, that what the president is signing is what the president requested in the bill, right? But for them to skip that part, and all these misgivings, and anomalies coming from what was passed and what the president signed, nobody identified it. So if they are putting all those ambiguity in the law, then there's a problem. It means the law is not just to serve the interest of the people. The law is to oppress the people. Because by the time you give the revenue service the mandate to arrest people, and that for you to go to court or appeal to court or do anything with the court, you must deposit 20%. So they can just arbitrarily be writing to people, you are owing 10 million, you pay 20% first. So it will even breed corruption. It will create chaos that every day you'll be seeing people fighting, with the revenue service and stuff like that. So they need to look into that and do the necessary things and make the law to be clean, unambiguous, and straightforward. The people that have power to prosecute are the law enforcement, not the revenue service. Nigerians are good at copying developed countries, but they are not good at doing exactly what the developed countries are doing. That is the problem I have with Nigeria. Now, that tax law was copied from abroad. All right? Abroad, their major source of income is taxation. Most of them don't even have oil, but they do very well. Why? When they collect these taxes, they use it for the interest of the people. Basically, I know there are loopholes for corruption. Some of them, like you even see in the US, through USAID, through the aid they give out to countries. From there, they steal most of this money through corruption and all that. You can hear what is happening in Minnesota, where the food stamp thing have been, weaponized as a conduit of corruption. Up to 8 billion was stolen. So they are dealing with that. The law enforcement is already doing investigation. The same thing is going on in California, I think. So when you look at all these things, there is room for corruption, but at least they are still doing something for the, citizens. Then let's look at nobody is even talking about how will this tax benefit the people. So I thought that the tax reform is to address all the taxation problems and make it easier and simpler for the taxpayer and rake in revenue for the government, which we expect that the government will use for the betterment of the people. That should be the idea. So now, let's compare these two countries, all right? Nigeria and America, because that's where they are copying all these laws from. Now, when it comes to road, because of the tax they collect in the US, they are able to build good quality of roads. So all those movies you watch in America, that roads we are seeing is what it is, physical. There's no difference. You watch American movies, you see quality roads, you see quality hospitals, you see ambulances. Anytime once anybody call 911, ambulance is there or police is there. And you see that is what taxpayers' money does in a sane society. Good quality of road. If you are driving from New Jersey to New York, the same standard of road you are driving from New Jersey is what will take you to New York. But if you are going from Abuja to Kogi, just the neighboring state, the moment you pass Abaj, which is the last, community, area council in Abuja, and you are entering Kogi state, bad road from there. So you already know that you are no more in the federal capital. From by the type of road you're driving, you saw many people traveling home for Christmas. They are trapped on the road. They will sleep there for days because the roads are bad, and the people are a-mannered. They are impatient to be able to obey traffic rule and drive the normal way. Everybody want to pass at the same time. The road is locked. Now, when you look at the roads in Nigeria, terrible, roads. Are you talking about Binia Uchi Road? Are you talking about the Warri, Delta? Well, even at Lagos, about the expressway, they are still concerning it for over 10, 15 years now, that road. Are we talking about East-West Road? Are we talking? So there are so many of them, the bad, terrible roads. So the taxes they are paying, the oil money they are collecting, what are they doing with it? Nobody knows. Every day you hear, this one stole 10 billion. Former accountant general stole 109 billion, one man. You hear the former CBN governor, MFL, is building 754 duplexes in Abuja. Where did he get the money from? All these monies, they collect all your money, they steal it back. Abacha loot came back, they relooted it. Are we talking about the 210 trillion NNPC cannot account for, that they are padding the audited report? So these are the problems. It's not about paying taxes. It's about utilizing those taxes for the benefit of the people. That is where the problem lies. And Nigeria have no capacity to do that. If you check all the videos they have been doing, from the tax reform committee chairman to every one of them in government, they are not telling you, if we have collected this tax, these are things that we are going to do with them. Nobody is saying that. And you recall, the same way the president told Nigerians in 2023 is cancelling subsidy. He said that why Nigeria is not progressing is because of subsidy, that is gulfing trillions of naira. We believed him, right? And they said they will remove subsidy. When they do, Nigeria will have enough money to build infrastructure, to build electricity, to build hospitals and what have you. This is almost 2 years plus, getting to 3 years. May next year, May 29, 2026, will be 3 years of this administration. What exactly have they done with the subsidy money? You heard the federal government, they say they share the money at federal allocation committee. It has gone to state and local government. Go and hold your governors accountable. But that's not what they told us. We were expecting that the president will mop up the subsidy money, put it in a trust, like they have the PTF those days that Buhari managed during the military regime, that they build quality roads. Even most of them are still existing today. That's what we expected. Like Jonathan did Shopee during when he was president. He mopped the money, put it in a pool, and then created programs, targeted programs, where you can go and see the money. During Shopee, you can see primary healthcare center, over 1,200 across the country, were renovated and fund equipped by Jonathan's government. So a lot of things happen at that. But this government, they cannot show Nigerians what the subsidy removal money has done. That is the problem. Now the Minister of Works will come on air and be mentioning all kinds of monies. But people can travel home for Christmas as we speak because the roads are terrible. So that is number one. Abroad, good quality road network, even in local communities, good quality roads with cameras that is watching what is going on those roads. That's why any street you commit any crime, they just pick the cameras within those streets and check, and they will catch you. Very simple. But in Nigeria, I saw a video of Scott Iguma talking about corpses on one on Koso Highway, another two on some other roads in Lagos State. Nobody knows what happened to those people. There's no camera to find out who are they, what really happened. Nobody knows. So these are issues. Again, let's look into the next point. Hospitals, taxpayers' money. They even provide, Medicare and Medicaid, no matter the challenges in those programs. But poor people who doesn't have job, retired, personnel, elderly people, they have access to those, Medicare and Medicaid. It's like an insurance cover for them to be able to have access to healthcare. In Nigeria, do we have them? No, we don't. The NHIS, you can hear how many billion was stolen there the other time. So even when you have NHIS in Nigeria there, you go to hospital, they will even attend to you. They will be attending to those who are paid than you, because the hospitals, they don't get their remittances from the insurance when it's time. They delay. I don't know what is the problem. What hospital do we have? Do we have good hospital? Now the president is traveling abroad for treatment. Former President Buhari died in London hospital. And he ruled Nigeria for 8 years. He cannot build one quality hospital that can take care of him as a president. Can't you see that there's a cost on the land? There's a cost on the land. The incumbent president, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, he travels to France, he takes medical vacation there. From there, he goes to UK for his checkup. There's no hospital in Nigeria that can take care of him. So what is the taxpayers' money doing? That is the question. So hospitals, dilapidated. That's in Nigeria now. Before democracy, there is primary healthcare centers, right? And their job is to take care of simple diseases like malaria, all those little fevers and all that. Anyone they cannot handle, even delivery in those days, anyone they can't handle, they refer it to general hospital, which is secondary layer, right? Anyone such the general hospital cannot handle, they refer it to tertiary, which is now specialist hospitals. in some cases, teaching hospitals. Teaching hospitals basically are created for those studying medicine in schools, for them to learn practical. But today, primary healthcare center is gone. Even general hospital now is almost gone. So anybody that is sick, whether it's headache or something, goes to tertiary, goes to secondary. So there's no more primary healthcare center. So what is the taxpayers' funds doing? That is the question. But go to America. There are clinics all around you. Eye clinic, dental clinic, normal hospital. You are sick, you just call 911, they take you there, and they take care of you. You don't need to deposit one kobo. Once they take your ID, they confirm your identity. They treat you. When you are done, you go home. No dollar is paid. But when you now get home, when your bill is ready, it comes to your house. You start paying. If you can't pay once, you break it down and be paying every month. You pay in something until you finish. You can pay for 5 years. As far as you are paying in something every month, no problem. But in our cases, we have seen people, they can't afford 200,000 deposit for their wife to deliver. The woman will die with the pregnancy. What is our taxpayers' money doing? That is the question. So when you look at all this, pay tax, pay 15%, 20%, 18%, that is not the issue. The issue is after you have collected those taxes, what do you do with them? That is the question everybody is asking. And nobody in government is coming to explain what is going to happen to those monies. They continue to borrow and borrow. The president the other day came and said they have met their revenue target, but they are still borrowing dollars, $2.something billion. They are still borrowing and borrowing and borrowing. They borrowed money in 2025. They are still funding 2024 budget. So what about 2025 budget? What about the revenue collected in 2025 and 2024? We are talking about 2026. You are implementing almost 30 different budgets in a particular year. Make it to make sense. Make it to make sense. Once the year ends, close the budget. Anywhere the funding stops, stop it there. Roll over those projects to next year and start afresh with the new budget and account for what happened previous year. But they are implementing 2 different budgets in 1 year. 2026 budget, 58 trillion. They will borrow almost 40 to 50% of that money. Who are going to pay? Me and you. That's why they are putting taxes everywhere, looking for who to hold and grab everything that you own. But the funny part is that Nigerians are just docile. All these things are happening. They are doing nothing. Go to EU. In the European Union, they cut 20% of subsidies going to farmers. Go and check what is happening there. Farmers took over the EU headquarters, took over the whole roads, pour potato everywhere on the road. All their tractors, they block everywhere. That money must be returned because they want to give that money to Ukraine for their war. They refused because they are the one producing food for all the EU countries and even the one they export. Citizens, look, they are not waiting for a clergyman to speak for them. They are not waiting for any special candidate to come and speak for them. It is the individuals who is affected that went to the street to fight for their right. That you can't take the money we are using to produce to give people to go and kill themselves in the name of prosecuting a war because they don't want the war to end. American president have been struggling with them to bring that war to an end, but they refuse because of the dollars going to those countries and the euros. US has cut off funding from them. That's why they are running to EU. So these are issues. Now, I've mentioned road, I've mentioned hospitals, right? No president since 1999 has ever built any quality hospital in Nigeria that can take care of even president himself. Nobody. Have you heard Donald Trump traveling to a different country for medical checkup? No. Have you heard the UK Prime Minister go to another country or Canadian Prime Minister? No. They take medication in their country. They have those standards. Why can't we have one? We budget billions in the budget. It goes down the drain. And nobody cares. So, the issue here remains the same. What is the presidency or the government going to do with Nigerian taxpayers' money when they start paying this new tax from January? That should be a big question that needs to be answered. When you talk about security, this is what taxpayers' money do. They fund the military, they fund the police, they do all this thing to provide security for the country. That's what they do. They check their borders. The borders is closed. You can hear visa ban and all this. They're trying to protect their citizens. So when you look at all these things, that is what taxpayers' money does. Then the most shocking part is that in the US, education, basic education to secondary, high school is free. It's free. So when they collect taxes, they use it to fund these schools. Parents send their children to school free of charge. You can only pay if you are sending your child to nursery, like the crèche, you pay for yourself. But once they enter primary, the care school, the kindergarten school, the government takes responsibility. Free. When you go to college, that's university, you pay for yourself. You can take student loan and stuff like that. So you can see there are ways, the citizens benefit from their taxes. That is the point I'm trying to make. Good roads, education, quality education. That's why you are leaving Nigeria to look for admission in US, in UK, in Europe to go and study. Don't we have university in Nigeria? Why are everybody running out? Mwike's children, the FCT minister, his children, one is graduated the other day abroad, right? I think in UK. Don't we have universities in Nigeria? Why didn't he put them there? You see, they bastardize the system home, mop the money for themselves, and use it to take care of their own families abroad. That is the problem. How many Nigerian ministers have their children of school age in Nigerian schools, not private school, in public school? None. Go and check. How many will you see that their children are in public school? Even the former Kogi governor, Yaya Bello, that was alleged that took over 80 billion. He paid for his children's school fees. The school is tied to, is it American talk? They pay in dollars. That's why he put his children in Nigeria. Private school, high-end private school. That he paid for their school fees in advance. Even the one that is yet to enter kindergarten 1, he has paid his fees till they finish. He's still in court. That's what we see, corruption. I'm still doing a video on corruption. That's another different issue altogether. So, taxpayers benefit, they have security, at least to some large extent, security. You talk about, good roads, talk about hospital, talk about education, so many things. Electricity is 24/7. Nobody owns generator anywhere in this country. You can only have generator if there is tsunami, that took down all the power distance. At least before they fix it, because of the cold weather, you can be able to power your house. But nobody owns any generator because light is 24/7. That is it. Just pay your bills. That's all. But in Nigeria, darkness. Obasanjo government invested $16 billion, more darkness. Jonathan Yaradua invested their own. Jonathan invested in doing his tenure. Buhari invested. To date, we are still below 10,000 megawatts for over 200 million people. So that's ridiculous. Those people in government are getting richer and richer by the day, but the citizens are getting poorer, and they are the ones they want to tax more as we speak. You don't tax poverty. How will you tax poverty? So the government will on their own push the people, the citizens to the wall, and then you will see uprising that will happen. That's exactly what is going to be. Maybe this tax law may be the trigger. By the time revenue service people start disturbing people anyhow, there will be action. Who knows? So government should be careful. People are already frustrated. All right? In abroad, there's water. 24/7 water. Nobody digs his own personal borehole. Nobody has overhead tank in his house. Water is piped direct from the government straight to your house. You just pay your bill. The meter is there. That's all. And the power that the water flows out is something else. That is the issue. But in Nigeria, no water, no public water supply. Even in Abuja FCT, apart from Kubwa, apart from part of Wuse, Maitama, high brow area, Sokoro, other places, even in Abuja, even in Dawaki, they have the dam. Then there was no water. Gwarimpa has no water. They have laid pipe for years. Corruption, billions of naira gone. What is the problem? No water. You build your own house, you dig your own borehole, you do your own drainage, you grade your own road by yourself. Where is the role of government? Nothing. It's to collect grand rent, it's to collect this and collect that. That's all. So when you are comparing yourself, in America, don't they pay tax? Do you do what they do for their taxpayers? That is the question you ask yourself. The scenarios are too different. I've mentioned a lot of things. If I can go on and on and on and on to give you a lot of examples of what happens in developed countries that pay taxes and how their government uses those taxes to better their life. Despite their corruption that is still there, they still better the life of the people. That is accountability. You use money, you use it wrongly, the system will catch you up and you go to prison. But in Nigeria, people, where is the accountant general that stole 109 billion? Where is he? Is he in prison? No, it's not. You do plea bargain, give them part of the billion, the rest is history. The Malamina, if you do plea bargain now, they will let him go. He will still go and enjoy the remaining loot he has kept. In America, congressman was caught with gold, with dollars in his house. He padded them in a winter jacket and put in his wardrobe. He was nabbed. He has been sentenced to prison, including the wife. But the wife is still waiting for sentence because she's going through chemotherapy. He's a senator. But in Nigeria, nothing will happen. Yaya Bello, we are still watching. So, my fellow Nigerians, it's not issue of paying tax. It's issue of holding government accountable. Don't wait for one pastor or one bishop to come and be speaking for you. No, it's your money. It's your tax money you are paying. So you need to hold them accountable. So, in abroad, That's why when you travel from Nigeria to developed countries, you see it with your eyes. You'll be wondering, are you in heaven? It's people that built it. Why should a Nigerian leave Nigeria to go and study in UK or US? Why will a Nigerian nurse leave Nigeria to go to UK to do nurse, to work as a nurse? Because he's not well paid, nothing in the hospital, no equipment, no facility, no welfare, no nothing. That's why they have to leave where their services are needed. And they go there, they are well paid, they receive all whatever they need to receive, and they do their job happily with facilities. So you can see the difference. Look at Dubai. They don't have oil. How did they build their country? But every Nigerian wants to go to Dubai. America has already issued their own visa ban. So that's the way to continue to go until we hold these leaders, this presidency, the National Assembly, the governors, all of them, until we hold them to their neck. They will not do anything that is meaningful to the country. All of them now are talking about 2027 general election. Nobody cares of what is going on in the country. Look at insecurity. He took the tweet from US president for them to wake up about insecurity. But Nigerians have been crying. They don't care. These are part of what taxpayers' money need to do. They don't care. They fly private jet. People are stuck on the road as we speak. Who are traveling for Christmas. They are stuck and they're going to sleep there for days, exposed to kidnappers. But these same looters, they will fly private jet and go home. Even when they get to the village, they use mopol, they use military as security and civil defense. They use siren to clear way if there's any traffic. And they pass. You are stuck. That is why 2027 is crucial. If you like, vote ethnicity, vote tribe, vote religion, you are the one who continue to suffer. The other day I was thinking, as Minister of FCT, at least FCT is supposed to have 24-hour power supply by now. How much does it cost to build that kind of independent power, power plant like the one Abia State Governor commissioned when he took over office? How much? $8 billion or something like that. They can build it in FCT. At least the federal capital should have 24/7 power supply. The streets supposed to have cameras. The roads, the bus stops, everywhere supposed to have cameras. So that the security will be improved in FCT, at least that FCT, which is the federal capital. But no, nothing. The minister is doing his best, as I know, doing some roads and stuff like that. But it's beyond that. How about the health sector in the FCT? Abaji, Gwagwalada, Kuje, all those areas, Karu, what is the quality of hospital there? Most of the hospitals that are placed in Abuja are private hospitals, very expensive to afford. Nisa Premier and the rest of them. What happens in the national hospital? Why can't we map out a big land and build high quality hospital that will take care of kidney issue, cancer issue, your children issue, just name them, heart issue, and so on and so forth. One big hospital. We have different units that takes care of different with all modern facility that president doesn't need to travel to the UK. You have trained doctors. Nigeria have good doctors. Go to abroad. They are the ones in charge. Because there is facility and equipment. But back home, there is nothing. Poor enumeration, nothing to write home about. So these are the issues we are talking about. There's no problem paying taxes. But the issue is, will the government use those taxes to do what is right for the betterment of the citizen? That is the big question government need to answer. Citizens, it is your civic responsibility to pay your tax. That is the truth. You have to pay your taxes as at when due. But it is now your right, after paying that tax, to hold government accountable, to show you what they are doing with that tax money. So Nigerians should wake up. If you don't hold them accountable, forget it. You will continue to lament, you continue to tweet, you will continue to shout, and nothing will change. It is what it is. The farmers in the EU, they did great job fighting for their right. They need the 20% back of that subsidy they cut from them. And who knows, they may get it back. They are not resting until they get it back. That's how citizens should behave. It's your money they are spending. It's your money. So hold them accountable. It is what it is. So, as for the chairman of the Tax Reform Committee, for me, I would recommend that they suspend that tax for at least a month. Let it start in February. So they use January to fix those anomalies, make sure that what is approved is what will be signed. So when they remove all those things from what President has signed, they provide for him an amended copy, all right, where they have removed all those insertions. And then the President will sign a new copy, which will now take effect in February 1st instead of January 1st. If they don't fix it before this thing kicks off, forget it, they will never fix it. That law will remain as it is as I speak. That's how Nigeria functions. If they don't fix it now that people are crying out, and they said, let's start implementation, they will never fix it again. So don't allow them to continue. Make sure you hold them to stop until it is fixed. I know that some cases are already in court concerning all this thing. Anyways, I'm going to leave it here, but there's quite a whole lot. In my next video, I'll talk about corruption and the rest of them, and then even the new scrapping of used vehicles and stuff like that. So guys, I'm going to leave it here. I don't know what you think. I don't know what your own, what your own, mind is telling you as we speak. Do you want them to just roll out, the tax with all those insertions, telling them that you will pay 20% before you can even have access to court, telling them that the revenue service can arrest you by themselves? Well, it's up to you. Whatever you think, please put it at the comment section, and we'll continue to deliberate and debate on that. All right? Nobody have monopolies of knowledge, and you have a right to share your views and opinion. That's what it is. It's your right. Use it. Okay? But make sure you hold the government accountable as you are paying whatever new tax they're supposed to pay. Make sure you pay your taxes, please. It's cheaper to pay than for them to come after you. That's what it is. Be a good citizen and be a citizen that knows his right, a citizen that can hold his government accountable. So I will let it slide there, but before I leave, if you are new to my channel, please kindly like and share this video, and also subscribe to my channel and put on the notification bell so that when my next new video drop, you'll be among those that will be notified. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in my next video. Have a wonderful day.